Kufunguliwa kwa kituo cha biashara na uvumbuzi cha Rotary kwa vijana wa jimbo hili ni ishara tosha. Gavana ni kiongozi anayejali maslahi ya vijana na pia kiongozi anayesema na kutenda. Kwenye sekta ya uchukuzi, Mheshimiwa Nyong'o amejenga kituo cha mabasi cha Nyamasaria ambayo pia itasaidia pakubwa katika uendelezaji wa uchumi wa jimbo hili la Kisumu. Kwenye sekta ya sanaa na utalii, ukumbi wa Mama Grace Onyango, kituo kikubwa cha jamii Kisumu, vijana wenye vipaji tofauti wamepata nafasi ya kuonyesha taifa kipawa cha usanii. Kupanuliwa kwa uwanja wa kimataifa wa ndege hapa jijini Kisumu, ikiwa ni baadhi ya matunda alizoziandaa Mheshimiwa Professor Anyang Nyong'O.
So the focus, as I said, was now on conference tourism or business conferencing. If you have an international airport, that means it's easy to get people to your destination. And that's huge, to get an airport, and therefore easy to get people into the region. We also had big hotels here. The Acacia Hotel, the Sovereign Hotel, the Grand Swiss Hotel. And with these big properties, and now the airport, it wasn't difficult to start to shape the conference destination as a business conference region. So, where did we begin? We began by working with the tourism stakeholders.
Tumekuwa na rais wa Mozambique, Joaquim Chissano, amekuwa hapa kwenu siku kadhaa, na watu Mozambique wamefurahi sana the way Kisumu has hosted their former president Joaquim Chissano. Si mnatosha jamani? Hapa pia tumekuwa na yule aliyekuwa rais wa Seychelles, Danny Fo, amekuwa hapa karibu siku 3, na Kisumu has been able to host marais kwa hiyo level. Na pia tumekuwa na Prime Minister wa Gabon. Ndege imetoka Libreville kule Gabon na ikakuja direct Kisumu International Airport. Na tumeweka historia sababu sasa hii airport yenu hapa tumeipanua. Ukienda airport utaona imepanuka mara 2 with a complete modern arrivals lounge and a complete modern departure lounge.
Mheshimiwa Achi Alai Ojanyi ni waziri wa utalii, sanaa, spoti na utamaduni.
You know, tourism is about connectivity. So I've talked to you about the airlines, and they're all here. Kenya Airways, Jumbo Jet, flying out, and 748 flying out of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And then from Wilson Airport, making sure that I can also attract people who live on that side of town in Nairobi. So we have Renegade and we have Safari Link. And so every hour, and my office faces the airport, every hour I have a carrier in the skies. There's an airline coming in or there's one going out. And you know, now we have the Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium, brought by His Excellency the President, with our governor lobbying for it. It's an international stadium. We hosted Afro-Cities there. But now you will see over the next 5 years, we will have a lot of international fixtures, a lot of regional fixtures, and a lot of local fixtures. So it was one of the President's agendas that he would open up stadiums around the country. And we're very excited in Kisumu. We're very lucky to have it in our first 5-year term. And we're also working on Moi Stadium, which is the county's one. So depending on budgets, you get a budget, and each year we are working on it. So we focused on business conferencing. Again, like I said, because there's an airport, because there's connectivity, good road infrastructure, creating all this LVTA system. I'm saying that let's put that first down and then now concentrate on the culture, the tourism sites, because that needs money, purpose for that. So as I move into phase 2 of this administration, when the governor is back, we want to focus on developing, for example, Kitmikai substantially, and we've put a very big
The governor and his administration recognizes the role of the youths in the county of Kisumu and in the country, and I would like at this point to recognize the youth leadership within the Azimio coalition and the party in Kisumu. Jimmy Magir, where are you? Please stand, we recognize you if you are here. Jimmy? Okay, fine, thank you very much. And then George Abwajo for the region, if you are here. Thank you very much. And we are proud of one Philip Pande, who is the national Azimio youth leader and who comes from this county. Asante sana. Now we all know that the governor is a founder member of the Orange Democratic Movement, a party that without doubt is the largest in Africa, south of the Sahara and north of the River Limpopo. He was Secretary General of the same party for 10 years. Now within the county of Kisumu, we have a party structure and a leadership, and I want at this point to recognize Professor Ayesha Oluen and team, all members of the ODM party leadership. If you are here, please stand up to recognize you. Na tuwapige makofi. Asanteni sana, we are proud of you and the work that you are doing. It is now my humble duty, ladies and gentlemen, to invite up front our vision bearer, a man that I'm immensely proud of. I would like to ask you guys to stand up as we invite Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'O to take over the program from here. Karibu, Governor.
Thank you very, very much, DG. Wakisumu wenzangu, hamjambo? Hamjambo tena? Osaurehuru. Ero kamano. Welcome here today for this launch of our second and final manifesto. Let me begin first and foremost by welcoming here first my wife, Dorothy. Without her, I wouldn't be here. Please, can you stand up and they see you? Thank you very much. Manonya game, come on. Ukienda kienda, nyakukeni ni game bwana. Aya Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Let me also welcome here my dear friend, Professor Michael Chege. Professor Michael and I have known each other for a very long time. We went to graduate school in different universities in the US, but we knew each other. We taught at the University of Nairobi. We have written books together. Professor Michael, please stand up so that they see you. He is our guest of honor today. And he was one of my advisors in the Ministry of Planning and National Development when we developed the economic recovery strategy for wealth and employment creation and eventually Vision 2030. So he's a man who is very profound and very knowledgeable in the development of our nation. I'd also like to welcome this morning the clergy who have prayed for us this morning. Apostle, I see you there, and Sheikh Musa, thank you very much for coming and blessing us. And then my government, the DG and the ministers who are here today, thank you so much for coming. Members of the executive of the county and chief officers, directors, and party members from all over Kisumu County, from all the sub-counties. You are welcome, and thank you so much for coming. ODM! ODM! Asanteni sana. Haya. Mine, this morning is to go through and present to you my manifesto for the second term, for which I'm requesting you for votes. But let me begin by saying that we live in troubled times. We live in a world that was shaken by COVID-19 and is just recovering from the ravages of COVID-19. Although it was troubled times, it also gave us challenges for rising up to the occasion. And I must begin by thanking our medical fraternity in this county, led by Dr. Greg Gander. The medical fraternity, can you stand up, please, wherever you are? Greg Gander and your colleagues and all those who may be working at community health workers, you have made us proud. Because without you, we would not have gone through the COVID-19 so successfully in this county. And the Lake Region Economic Bloc team, led by Professor Kamarogo, the elders who had an advisory committee to the Lake Region as a whole, was recognized internationally. Indeed, the Kenyan government took their forecast of the incidence of COVID-19. It is their scientific tool that was actually adopted to predict the waves of COVID-19 in Kenya. And that was a result of the concerted work of our medical team here. The call center you established has been recognized internationally, Greg, as one of the things that was, one who could say, first-time response. First, to those who are under stress of COVID-19, evacuating patients to health facilities, supplying oxygen in time, and it led us to establishing an oxygen processing plant at Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital. And that oxygen plant will now be capable of supplying oxygen to the whole region. It also led us in the Lake Region Economic Bloc to think even more creatively. And we initiated a program through the Lake Region Economic Bloc for establishing a drone system in Chemelil, which will be launched soon. This drone system will be serving the whole of the Lake Region Economic Bloc in making sure that essential medical commodities like blood. We noticed just during COVID-19, when somebody was sick in a place like Anyang Nyong'O, and you want to deliver oxygen there, it would be fatal to try and take the oxygen there by road, because you will arrive too late. But with the drone, it is now possible to reach Anyang Nyong'O from Chemelil in 5 minutes. And this was a result of our experience with COVID-19. And we recently went to Rwanda to see exactly how that drone system works. Rwanda was the first nation in Africa, apart from, I think, Nigeria and Ghana, I think. But it was the first nation in Eastern Africa to adopt this drone system. Now, when you think of drones, you think of those things you see in funerals or in rallies. No, those are drones, yes, but miniature drones. The real drones that can carry things much bigger than that. And it's going to be here, launched here in Chemelil very soon. As a result of our experiences using troubled types of COVID. Hard times teach human beings to learn new lessons. I know that we still live in troubled times because the Ukrainian war is still going on. And we know that it has created some difficulties. Those of us, countries which export certain commodities from Ukraine or export to Ukraine. But nonetheless, we need to rise up to the occasion as Kenyans. So what does this have to do with the manifesto that we are launching today? This manifesto is not launched in a vacuum. It's being launched in a nation called Kenya, which for the first time in our history since independence is hopefully going to see an election, which will which should give us the opportunity to make a transition from the hangovers of the authoritarian regimes of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, so that we can live the moment that our new constitution expected us to live in the year 2010. Because that constitution, as you could read it, established for the first time in our history, much more profoundly than in 1963, two levels of government, national and county, with substantial responsibilities to transform the lives of our people. In our county and in county governments as a whole, according to our constitution, the constitution gives us tremendous responsibilities over health, education, agriculture, water, roads, environment, and habitat. By habitat, I mean where we live and how we live. There's much more important to think of habitat, especially when you live in a closely built environment called urban areas or cities, because that is where the challenge for humankind is writ large. We know from our geography lessons in primary and high school that between human beings and the natural environment, there's a very important transaction going on a daily basis, which you never realize. You breathe out carbon dioxide, and you breathe in oxygen. I'm you. That carbon dioxide is needed by plants, because that is their food. And the oxygen that they breathe out is what sustains you. That transaction between us and the environment is threatened by the built environment in urban areas. When concrete houses and concrete roads and streets and so on deprive the plant life of its own sustenance, that is the soil. And therefore there's a scarcity of oxygen in a highly built environment, which is a threat to human life. And we need therefore to think of greening our cities and our environment and reducing the concrete that we use in terms of how high our buildings are and how far apart they are. That is called urban planning. In this city, fortunately, we did accomplish what is called Kisumu City Special Plans. Moses Orega there knows that is a very important thing. Special and geophysical plans for governing how to live in a built environment, so as we get a good habitat and we get a clear balance between us and our sisters and brothers in the natural environment called plants and other living beings. That challenges us because human beings tend to be selfish without looking at the long-term implications of their lives. So people will begin trading everywhere, building everywhere, whatnot, and if you tell them this is not good for you, they will resist. When actually what you're telling them not to do is good for their long life. Sometimes certain diseases afflict us and we don't know where they come from, because we are too selfish in using the environment. The high incidence of cancer, for example, that is increasing by the day, is because we have abused the environment. We have abused our water resources. We don't keep them clean. We release affluence in our water resources. For example, Lake Victoria, which was dying. And we just started rehabilitating it with the opening of the port and the dredging of the lake, so that we can remove the debris under the lake and make it a healthier environment. Now you can see it becoming bluer and bluer. I'm a civil. And because we did that to the lake also rebelled against us. And you saw its level rose and consumed anything on its shore to the detriment of our interest. I'm saying all this because this is the essence of this manifesto. There are something things that we have done. Yes, we are proud of them, but that's just a foundation. If we don't build on that foundation and expand what we have been doing and make real the aspirations of our first 5 years, then what we have done will come to naught. And therefore, I'll go straight, not to the first part which says what we have done. That we have done and you have seen it. Like Othello said when he was just about to kill himself in Shakespeare's play Othello, I have done the state of some service, and they know it. No more of that. When these tales relate, tell them as they are. Nothing exaggerate. So we have told our tale as they are. We are not exaggerating anything. But we want to build on it for the future. So that it is just not the next 5 years which is important, but the years after that, because even the next 5 years will be a foundation for those who are coming after us. Ama sivyo? Huyu jamaa ananifuata kabisa, eh? Na nyinyi mnaniangalia tu. So this will definitely be a foundation for the future, for those who are coming after us. But then we must build on the foundation we have laid today, as that video has summarized so effectively. So I will not go to the first part of this manifesto. You know it. What we have to do really first in the area of health, Greg Ganda is here, is that lady in that video who was talking about Lumumba Health Center, Kasab County Hospital, said, we are happy that this sub-county hospital is as it is today. It is clean, we get services. We are happy to be here, the doctors look, the nurses are good. But there's something much more important. Why did I in the first place come here? This is, for all intents and purposes, a referral hospital. I came here because lower down, those other facilities do not offer the kind of services I have here. And maybe, if there was better family, communal, preventive, primary health care, I could easily deliver in a health center or a dispensary, as happens in Cuba. So the responsibility that we have been given as county governments of undertaking and looking after family, primary, and community health is very fundamental in the delivery of healthcare. It is the foundation of healthcare delivery. And so we think in Kisumu County that investing in primary healthcare, especially community health workers, not just in terms of their salaries, but in terms of what they know, the services they deliver, and the facilities in which they deliver those services. That is the foundation of a successful healthcare system. And so we must invest effectively in our dispensaries and health centers, family health and community health, preventive health, spend on it, so that places like Lumumba Sub-County Hospital become truly referral facilities, not facilities that deal with primary health problems that can be dealt with at that lower level. That's one of the reasons why the First Lady has taken it at her mission to deal with these breastfeeding centers, especially in working places. Because if a child is not breastfed properly, they will not grow up as proper human beings. Breastfeeding is both nutritional but also psychological. The communication between the child and the mother. I don't know whether you have ever watched a mother breastfeeding. You have watched a mother breastfeeding. You see how much the child concentrates on the breast, and how much attention the mother gives the child at that point in time. Katakagweno ukatiende kubwinji kwenda somo tendeni okonya winjo kuzo mine okawaja diera. So that activity is important in terms of primary health care and in terms of preventing future diseases. So in this county, we have tried to obey the World Health Organization guidelines that nobody should live more than 2 or 3 kilometers from the nearest health facility. That also applies to water. Water is another essential commodity. And I'm glad, where's Salmon Orimba? Where's Salmon? He's away. I must say that the Department of Water has done a wonderful job, making sure that 75% of our county is covered by water, fresh water. But the other 25% must be covered too. And that, we have laid the foundation. We must now finish the building in water provision so that we have a healthy population, so that water provision can complement the healthcare system. That also goes with early childhood education. Now, if you ask me, I would say that county governments should be responsible for education up to high school. Sorry. As it happens, as it is the case in other jurisdictions like the US. My brother here lives in the US and he knows that. The state governments are responsible for education up to high school. Some state governments even have their universities. State University of New York at Albany. Why can't we have a county university of Kisumu at Ahero? But I think that rather than be too ambitious, let us do what we were given to do in the Constitution effectively, because it's fundamental to the development of our nation. That is early childhood education. And I must commend Mwalimu Awiti, ever since he joined the government, and his team, for concentrating on developing ECD classes almost in every village. And that's one of the reasons why we created village councils and village administrators, because we want to assign the villages very fundamental functions: environment, access roads, health, water. Those are the basic things that the village councils must look after in our government. So we are saying, in this manifesto, you'll realize that a lot of emphasis is laid on those functions. Can we please, what is happening there? Our Jama, who is distributing what there? Please. Please, can we stop that, please? Ketini chini tafadhali. Ndugu zanguni, ketini chini. Mzee, tafadhali. Asante sana. So in this manifesto, you realize the emphasis we put on those and what we are going to do more. It will require that, notwithstanding, as somebody said earlier, the shortages of financial flows from the Treasury, but we must set our own priorities and spend it critically where it matters. The other thing I want to talk about is agriculture. Now, you know, this county, when I was growing up, was a good producer of fresh produce, vegetables, maize, tubers, cassava, potatoes. And I remember when I was a kid, we used to bring milk to the KCC plant here from my home. We were supplying milk to KCC for the whole of Kenya. And that's why we are reviving dairy production in the county. The Chemelil Animal Reproduction Center, so that we can improve our breed and produce the milk as we used to do it. With the sugar industry here, with plenty of molasses, we can use that as a supplement of feeding our cows. And now with the drone system there, we'll be able to have artificial insemination for our great cows throughout the county. Rather than take your cow, march your cow all the way to Chemelit to be borrowed by a bull there. We'll bring you artificial insemination at home. Mama Silvio. At the moment, of course, the model is that there are great bulls there, but we think that's rather basic. All we need to breed the bulls, but take semen from them, and then use it for artificial insemination in all our homes to improve our breeds. In agriculture, we have already, as you saw, opened up the Kochieng tomato plant here in Nyando, because of tremendous tomatoes doing there. By the way, there's a great deal of demand for fresh tomatoes in Kinshasa, in the DRC where I came from. So if you can actually export fresh tomatoes to the DRC, and we can do it, because we're already working with the Kenya Fresh Producers Association, Okisegere Ojapat team, to improve fresh produce here. So we must be ambitious and do what we used to do when I was growing up. Because we have the soil, we have the people, we have everything, we have a climate to improve our fresh produce products and produce in excess so that we can export some to the rest of Kenya. We can do it. So in agriculture, we aim at building on what we have already done at Kochieng to ensure that the productivity in other sub-counties goes on for purposes of value addition in agriculture. Now let's say something about roads. I think there you saw first experiment we have done in Kisumu County of having a tarmac road from Nambakapio to Ndere Island, 17 kilometers, being built by the National Youth Service. That's a government-to-government transaction, and it's being finished in record time. Because I challenge our contractors to rise up and build tarmac roads. If they can do it, we shall give them contracts. But if they can't, we can't, because we want results. So if we can do that successfully, and also Clay Creek Road that we are building there in Kisumu East, then we will know what it costs to do tarmac roads in our rural areas. And we can stop this madness of having earth roads everywhere, which break down every time it rains, which compelled us to create a group called Kisumu Road Maintenance Teams to maintain access roads in our rural health and villages. Makofi basi ndugu zanguni. Haya, asante. Asante. So, we have done that experiment, and I think both have been successful. We now know what it costs to do tarmac roads by ourselves. So we can aim in the next 5 years, a tarmac road per sub-county per year. And if Kura and Kera cooperate with us, and I know under the Azimio government, something we've done in terms of reforms in the road sector, some of the functions that were taken from the counties given to Kera will maybe returned to the counties, and we shall be prepared ready to use those functions effectively. Environment. I mentioned earlier that we should learn a basic lesson in biology. That when we breathe out carbon dioxide, plants should be there to give us oxygen, which means that what we have been doing in Kisumu City will have to be done in all other urban centers where we are building towns like Moroni and so on, so that it is not just something for Kisumu City, something that applies to county as a whole. In any case, our forest cover in the county Kisumu is the worst in the nation. We have only about 1 or 2% forest cover. That's a shame. You only need to go to Nyeri and see how much forest cover they have. So, we must increase our forest cover. And that's why we gave the responsibility of environment to every village. Hawa jamaa ambao wanaingia county assembly, tafadhali tusaidie. Tupatie hawa jamaa jukumu la kuplant trees. And I think we are going to, like we did with the community health workers, I think we should have community environment workers too. so that we sign these environment workers for planting trees in our villages, planting trees along our roads. So what we have started in Kisumu City will be expanded elsewhere, so that we reduce the adverse effect of the built environment against the natural environment. And finally, let me come to our city. Much has been said, quite rightly so, that we have done a lot in the city. We have. That doesn't mean that we have not done anything in the rural areas, which is not true. The two are not mutually exclusive. But we must continue to do more in the city of Kisumu. Because, as we are campaigning some the other day into places like Tido and so on, you can realize that if we don't do something about expansion there, and we plan those things, they're going to be jungles, slums. And so in our next phase, 5 years, we're going to pay a lot of attention in the so-called informal settlements. My policy is we are not here doomed to live with informality. We must formalize informality. We must formalize informality. That's one of the reasons why we are building markets all over the place. So our traders can trade in formal institutions with good security, good environment, good hygiene, so that they can accumulate capital. Just think of Kibuye with an M-Pesa facility, with 2 banks, with a place where somebody can go and buy a ticket to go to Nairobi. That kind of service for those women will make them trade much better than if they are on the road. Just think of this bus stop transformed into a modern transit place, not the way it is, a jungle of confusion. And yet when I say that, some stupid fellow says that I want to daro people. I mean, what kind of stupidity is that? Makofi kwangu basi. We must formalize informality. And that's how our nations, other nations have grown. London used to be like this if you read Shakespearean plays. Glasgow used to be like, but they have formalized informality and developed. Sasa kama nyinyi hawataki to formalize informalities, you will remain in the dark ages of informality and backwardness. Ama sivyo? So, when we say building the future on the foundations we have laid, we mean exactly that. Development means choosing to go forward. We have chosen to go forward. Kisumu, fast forward. Once upon a time, Nyerere said to Africa, if Africa wants to develop, we must run while the Europeans walk. Because if we don't run, we'll never catch up with them. So in Kisumu County, I am pleading with you, let us run while the rest of people walk. So ladies and gentlemen, having said that, I really would like to take this opportunity to invite my dear friend, Professor Michael Chege. Hey, ngoja kidogo huyu jamaa ana something to say, yeah? Oh, yes, sorry. He says we must launch the thing first before we give you the... Now, these people have a ceremony for launching this manifesto, which I respect. So I will bow to my friend, Alois Aguirre. Alois, can you then guide me what to do? Do I sit down and wait? I can take my seat. I'm demoted. ODM! Thank you.
Can we give the governor a round of applause? Na tupepereze bendera ODM juu, kila mtu fanye hivi, toa kofia. Kama mnapenda governor, tinguru kofia uting malo. Anyang Nyong'o tano tena. Tuseme tano tena. Nyong'o. Nyong'o. And Baba. The fifth Baba.
Azimio la umoja. Azimio la umoja. Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga. ODM. ODM. Ngojeni kidogo. Bado kumaliza. Can you sit down please? We haven't finished. Tafadhali ketini chini. Ladies and gentlemen, hey. 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 Tafadhali. Let's sit down please. Ngoja kidogo. We have one more thing to do. After the launch, we have one more thing to do. Ngoja kidogo. We are just waiting for Michael Chege to come back. Okay. Jolokano. Hello, ODM. 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 Haya. Basi, ngoja kidogo. Okay. So first is the speaker here. Mr. Speaker, I need to give you this officially to take to the assembly because you are the people who will be. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. Then the chairman of the party, Professor Yecho Olweny Mayedenda. Thank you very much. ODM! You must respond to the party leader. If you don't, he will not be happy with you. Basi. Sasa, I'd like to now request my friend, Professor Michael Chege, to come and make some remarks on this launch and the manifesto, and maybe give us some guidance on some way forward as a county. Michael, please. Makofi kwa Michael.
Thank you very much. I've come all the way from Dagoretti, where I was born in Kiambu. I'm so happy to help launch this manifesto of my best friend in here, Kisumu Dala. So it's also my Dala. Yo Kisumu untie? Untie? Omar? Okay. Now, I have many friends here, in addition to the Nyong'o family, Dorothy. I was just talking to Professor Olweny. We were together at the University of Nairobi. I saw Caleb Opon sometime here. Honorable Governor, Deputy Governor, Matthew Willie, also a good friend of mine, Speaker, all of you, I'm deeply honored to have been asked to comment on this manifesto. That is the plan of the governor to move forward. I'm a stakeholder because intellectually we work together on these ideas. Please listen. Because we work together on these ideas, and they're the right ideas to see the development of Africa move forward. You saw this county host the Afro-Cities Conference in May. Kisumu was the benchmarking city for all of Africa. Mpigie Professor makofi nyameni. Ameleta Afrika yote hapa kuona how to run a proper city with cleanliness, with caring attitude towards the ordinary people, the ladies who work on the streets, on the road. Give them shelter, give them a place to do business and do it well. The care for mothers that he mentioned, it's all here. Primary health care, early child development. I think what is in this manifesto is a continuation working from the foundations so that in future, Kisumu will be even more recognized internationally, not just the county, but also the city for proper development and giving facilities and opportunities to its citizens and its people. I like the idea of more markets. We are talking about helping the women, our market women, in Otonglo and other places like that. I like the idea of extending the roads, the board, the importance that is being placed in agriculture. The city and the farm work together. Wale walio katika town, waliko city hii, lazima wakule chakula na chakula kinatoka wapi? Kule rural areas, kwa farmers. And in future, and you heard it during the Afro-Cities, more Africans will live in cities and fewer of them in the countryside. Ukitazama kwetu hapa Kenya, utaona jameni. Please listen. Most of our population are young people. And they are educated. They want jobs in a modern urban sector. And they are migrating. Please let us not confine them to the slums. Let them have jobs. Let them have opportunities so that the country can move forward in a developmental way. I like the idea of therefore on agriculture, improvement of cotton, rice, and food security. I like the idea of improving the sugar sector once again and look. Professor Nyong'o has some of the best ideas that I know of on what we could be doing with the sugar sector to make it useful for employment and also to generate more industrial activities alongside it. He's talking about producing livestock feed out of sugarcane. That is the way the country ought to move forward. Jamani, you are lucky to have a professor as a governor, sio raisi. Na Mungu amempa na nini? Blessings. Ni baraka kuwa na profesa kama governor. Manake anatumia ule ubongo wake na unajulikana dunia nzima, fikira zake zinaheshimiwa wapi? Dunia nzima. Amerika utakwambia Anyang Nyong'o, we know him. India ukienda uliza Anyang Nyong'o watakwambia we know that man. Maelezo yake ana mayele kama wanasema, afikira nzuri za heshima sana. Let me say a few things which I think should be thought of as we move forward. When I was helping launch the manifesto of Professor in 2017, I told you, Professor Anyang Nyong'o will never take your money. He will use it. Pesa yenu ni yenu, na ataitumia kwa nyinyi, na maendeleo ni kwa nyinyi, na mmeona matokeo yake. There are very few counties which can boast the record of integrity and honesty that Professor Nyong'o has demonstrated. Mpigie makofi jameni. Na ataendelea namna hiyo. And people are going to bring money and invest in Kisumu so our young people can get jobs. Because they know he's got integrity, it will be guarded, and he's honest, and things are going to work well. I like the idea of bringing the EPZ to life. 10,000 acres in Moroni. We now have the railway. We can use the lake navigation system to get products from here to the rest of East Africa so that this will become a hub of production in industry and in services. So please, if you can fast track the EPZ, it will be a wonderful thing to have. I must confess before all of you, I'm a great friend of Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. Because we think the same way about Africa and about Kenya and about the future, and we care for people. Sio wewe peke yako jipenda. Kwa hivyo, issues that we spoke about when Professor Nyong'o was planning minister, then health minister, and Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga was in government as the Prime Minister. There should be more industries in Kisumu, and they'll be there. In the EPZ, Professor Nyong'o did not mention cotton as a traditional crop of this region. We killed it, it ought to come back. And Kikomi ought to come back so that the kind of quality products that you found there can be produced for us here in Kenya and also for the rest of the region and for the world. I want to mention something else which I think is advisory, but I think is very important. For a very long time, Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga has been talking about using this city as a center of processing of precious minerals, precious, particularly diamond. It may strike you as strange, but Kisumu is ideally located for diamonds coming here from Central African Republic. You can fly from Bangui to here in less than an hour. South Sudan, Congo, and other parts of the country, and including our own country here. Processing of diamonds to compete with Bombay, with Tel Aviv, with Antwerp, instead of sending them out. Our young people here can be taught that trade. The same thing with gold. There's gold in Migori. It is being mined informally, artisanally. It's wrong. Let's have proper industrialization there in Transmara, and let's have the mineral processed here in Kisumu City at the EPZ. And we can extend that. And I look forward to that happening. Business tourism. Tourism is a very good employer of young people. And we have many young, educated people here who are looking for jobs. I was so happy to hear the county tourism minister emphasize business tourism. I think the way the county performed during the Afro-Cities conference shows that Kisumu can handle international delegates and international visitors in their thousands. And you did a good job. And they've gone to the rest of the world and praised this city. They say, Kisumu and the people of Kisumu are kind. And they showed us their culture. And we talked to them, we ate their food. We will go back there. The next time, there'll be double that. And your drivers, even matatu people, boda people, hotels, waiters, bartenders, all of you were beneficiaries of that. We want to see more and more conference tourism here with the international airport here. I like the fact that Kit Mikai is mentioned here, Governor Nyong'o, wonderful. Bringing it, to be a UNESCO heritage site. You had the Deputy President flew from Libreville, Gabon to here. People can fly to Kisumu now from all parts of the world. We want to see more and more tourists. We used to have long ago what we called in Kenya the Western Circuit, from Mara to Ruma in South Nyanza to here, then to Kakamega, then to Elgon. These things can be revived. We now have community and cultural tourism where tourists can visit homes and live with people for a while to get the experience. That is in the books. Let us realize it. Let's not make it theoretical. I like the fact that we are now talking in this manifesto about consolidating the infrastructure in many areas, including water, sanitation, housing, roads. All those things will happen. And they'll happen because I believe, by grace of God, when we go to the elections, we will elect Nani? Baba. Sijui what? I want to tell you, I don't normally campaign. I don't normally campaign in the market, but this time I'm campaigning in the market. This one, we can't take chances this time. We must have the right president, and for him to work, as the Honorable Speaker said, he must have the right senators and the right MPs and the right governors. Na mtu wa mkono wa baba ni hapa Kisumu City ni nani? Siarudishwe. Sawa. Okay. Okay, tano tena. I want to say a word about County First Lady Dorothy Nyong'o, because she's very gracious and self-effacing and always gives him the front so that he can get the glamour. She owes, and we owe her a lot, my generation, we owe her a lot for the support he has given the governor and me and us. And especially bringing up the family, keeping the family together, I know. And most important of all, she's working on cancer on a voluntary basis, raising money quietly, doing good work for children here in Kisumu, and doing good work for women and communities quietly. And it is working and working well. First Lady, thank you. And Her Excellency First Lady, thank you. And I'm corrected. And I want to say this. This manifesto shows you where you have been when the governor came in, which was not good. We are all happy as Kenyans for what he has done up to now. Hiyo ni foundation, kama alivyosema. Next ni kujenga nyumba watu wakae, sio? Tumpatie nini? Tano tena. Si namna hiyo? Tano tena. Kwa hivyo hii manifesto ni yatu, ni yake, na ni ya watu wote wa Kisumu na Kenya. This is the benchmark county. Speaker amesema watu wanakuja hapa kubenchmark kuona this is how to do development. Yaani profesa anaendelea kufundisha nini? Kenya na Afrika yote. You are lucky to have him. I'm lucky to have him as a friend. Nashukuru Mungu, tutamuombea ataingia 9th of August. Na baba okay.
Can't we give Professor a hearty round of applause? Understanding ovation. Allow me to recognize people living with disabilities. They were not organized, Makofi. And to, in a special way, appreciate the sign language interpreter, Evelyn Akinyi. At this juncture, we are left with 2 items to do. Let's be seated. I'll request the chair of the campaign team to come over here and do the endorsement of the governor's manifesto before I make the last announcement. Samuel.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Governor of the great county of Kisumu, Mama County, our special guest, the Deputy Governor of the great county of Kisumu, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kisumu, our delegates, officials from different sectors, Amjambo. ODM. ODM. Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'O. Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'O. Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'O. Baba the fifth. Baba the fifth. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, with your permission, allow me to recognize the head of our Secretariat, Honorable Neria Char. For those who have been visiting our Secretariat, the Secretariat is headed by Neria Char, who is doing a good job. Thank you very much. I really want to recognize and appreciate on behalf of the Secretariat the good work which is being done by different delegates and different sub-counties. It is because of your work, which is well coordinated, which has made our candidate to be actually leading in all the opinion polls which have been conducted by different professionals. And we are sure if we continue like that, we are very sure our candidate is going to have a landslide victory. We are very sure about that. Immediately after this, we are going to have a declaration at Kondele, and you are all invited. Allow me to invite different representatives from different sub-counties, starting with Kisumu Central. Kisumu Central, just come. Kisumu Central, Kisumu East, and Kisumu West, just come. Very fast because of time.
Your Excellency the Governor, the Chief Guest, all protocols observed. ODM. ODM. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Excellency, people are talking about what you have done for the Kisumu Central. What they didn't know is that now is when you have pulled the rabbit from the hat. We fully endorse this manifesto. Thank you.
Haya, makofi kwa watu ya Kisumu Central. Asante.
Kisumu West, having studied the manifesto of the governor of Kisumu, Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'O, truly the time for Kisumu to rise, shine, and be counted is here. Your Excellency the Governor, you have made it happen. Kisumu West stands with you on the day and into the future. Nyong'o tano tena. Thank you.
To the Governor, Mama County, Deputy Governor, our Chief Guest, and all delegates. Good afternoon. This is Charles Okello representing Kisumu East. I want to say that the Governor has done a lot, and whatever has been put in the manifesto speaks volume. In Kisumu East, we've seen several tremendous developments, starting with healthcare, running all along to ECDs and all the roads. And we believe to give Governor Peter Anyang Nyong'O tano tena. Watu wa Kisumu East tano? Tano? Thank you very much.
Asante. Allow me to invite representative from Seme, Muroni, Nyakach. And Nyando also together with them.
ODM. ODM. Nikipitia kwa gavana wetu Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'O, deputy yake Daktari Matthew Mabudu Wili, mgeni wetu wa heshima siku ya leo Professor ambao travel all the way from Nairobi. wageni wetu wote, wanachama wa ODM, hamjambo? Hamjambo tena. Sisi kama watu waseme tumestadi hii manifesto ya Governor Nyong'o na tumeridhika nayo. Na tuna ukweli na tuna hakika naye ya kwamba Profesa Peter Anyang' Nyong'o atafanya na anarudi kufa. Amefanya na anarudi kufa. Kwa hivyo Profesa Anyang' Nyong'o 5 te. Profesa Peter Anyang' Nyong'o 5 te. Abich mo. Erokamano.
His Excellency the Governor, Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, our invited guest, the Deputy Governor, the members of the Executive, the ODM nominees. I want to take this opportunity on behalf of Nyando Sub-County, Nyambano constituency, as the Secretary General of the campaign team for the Governor, that to declare that what is in this manifesto, starting from Kuchieng tomato plant, we have our watch irrigation scheme, we have Ugwe dispensary, we have Koroe market, we have Arero town, we have Lela dispensary, we have Nyamwere dispensary in Kanyagwal Kabonyo. We have also an irrigation scheme there. There are so many projects the governor has initiated in Nyando. And as Nyando team, we are proud of your government and we believe that you are going to do the remaining bit yenye iko kwa hii kitabu ya manifesto. ODM, watu wa Nyando tunasema 5 tena. Asante sana.
Your Excellency, in 2017, the people of Nyakach gave you a mandate and signed with you a social contract based on your manifesto then. We have seen your scorecard and you have passed with flying colors. Having listened to your commitment today, we sign with you another contract for another 5 years, and we endorse your candidature for the Governor of Kisumu County 2022. Anyang Nyong'o? Anyang Nyong'o? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Governor of the great county of Kisumu, the First Lady, the Deputy Governor, and the special guest of today, Professor Michael Chege. On behalf of Moroni Sub-County, I want to say that we have read the manifesto and we totally agree with it. We further want to say that we have witnessed the growth that has taken place in Kisumu County, and we are optimistic that the foundation that has been laid will see us grow even further. So as Moroni people, we commit that we support the manifesto, and wawacho kaka jo Moroni ni Nyong'o 5, Nyong'o 5, jo Moroni mantie chungane urumalo jo Moroni. Ero urukamano.
Allow me, Your Excellency, to invite the representative of the PWDs.
Your Excellency, Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, persons with disabilities have read your manifesto and they are convinced that you are the pace setter internationally, based that you've implemented the UN Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities. I've seen in your manifesto, you're also working with the World United Cities and Local Government. Persons with disabilities in Kisumu County have a home in your vision. Your Excellency Wasetimo, kendo wang'eyo ni Wadoktimo. Your Excellency, be sure of persons with disabilities support in your next tenure. Kawacho ni Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o, to wacho na ni abich moro. Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o, wach motegno. Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Dear delegates, we have traversed all the 7 sub-counties with our candidate. We are not taking your support for granted. It is because of your support we have reached where we are. Allow me now to invite the Speaker to pose a question. Karibu, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much. Your Excellency, the Governor of Kisumu County, you have launched your manifesto and you have indicated the things that you've done and those that you are going to do. Jo Kisumu County untie. Jo Kisumu County untie. You have seen the manifesto. He has said here what he's going to do and what he has done. So we have to put a question so that we make a resolution that we are adopting the manifesto, and when we agree with it, it means we are agreeing to support Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o for a beach borough. So when you agree with it, you are agreeing with Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o for a beach borough. And I put the question that the manifesto having been presented today with what the governor had done previously and what he's going to do, and the 7 sub-counties have presented their representative to agree with the same. And I put the question that as many of the opinion that the manifesto of Governor Professor Peter Anyang Nyong'o be adopted, say aye. As many of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it, and your manifesto has been adopted, and it means you are going to be the next governor. Thank you so much.
Just be seated. Now I will invite the governor to come over here. If you have a copy of the manifesto, I want you to wave it at him. Prepare. We all of. I'll be upstanding as you prepare it. Thank you very much. To prepare. Nasigalagala. Thank you very much. We have come to the end of our function, and now let's be upstanding for the national anthem. Governor, take a position. Sote tusimame. Tuagolu kofia. O God of all creation, justice be our shield and defender. May we dwell in unity, peace and liberty. Plenty be found within our border. Asanteni sana. Nitaomba ya kwamba governor na wageni wake ndio waende kwanza, kisha atatuongoza kwenda kule Kondele kwa baraza. Thank you very much. Just give room here for the governor to pass with his guest first.